Good evening, everyone. This is Mike the Piper, and welcome to another session of Star Wars: The Tides of Change, Heart of the Empire. In this session, we seem to be down a couple of people. Unfortunately, Devin, one incredible half of What the Dice, was unable to attend this session, so I will try very, very hard to do his amazing character justice, Kojamal. Unfortunately, another one of our players, Ryan, the second half of What the Dice, unfortunately has had to drop out of the session and drop out of the entire campaign. We wish him all the best. Real life should really take precedence over gaming, although gaming is tons of fun and really great. All of us here wish him good luck, and we hope that at some point he can rejoin us in the near future, as I think we've all come to love Spec in his ways and mannerisms. He's role played incredibly well by Ryan, and he will most certainly sadly be missed. So cheers to you, Ryan. Thank you so much for making the first 3 sessions of this game wonderful, and we really, really hope that you can come back to us because we will need your medical skill and crazy quirks. So cheers to you, man. However, we do have 3 of the incredible team who hasn't really quite named themselves yet. They haven't really got that far yet, but they're pulling some pretty awesomeness together. Right now, we have from my left, we have Varric, who is played by the amazing Dennis. Dennis, if you could just introduce yourself and plug all of your awesome stuff.
I'm Dennis. Excuse me, I don't really have any of my own stuff to plug, but Tides of Change, Role-Playing Club, OSG, WW3, for all your online role-playing needs.
Right on. And next up, we have Mercer, who is very excellently played by Gabe. Gabe, you can introduce yourself and plug away.
Hey everybody, this is Gabe B. First of all, I do play Mercer for this campaign for the Tides of Change role-playing club, and kudos to them. Also, Spec will be missed and will be forever be a part of this team, so no matter what he does in the game and out of the game, he's still part of our team in some way.
Here on that. And last but certainly not least, we have John playing the incredible Quarren Celine. John, if you could plug yourself and all of your particulars.
Hi, this is John from Red Dice Diaries. Just to echo what Gabe has said there, we're obviously missing the 2 players from the group at the moment. Hopefully they'll be able to get back with us as soon as possible once they've dealt with the necessary stuff they need to get dealt with. Looking forward to tonight's session. Can't wait to get into it.
Right on, right on. And just before we start, really, really quickly, this game is brought to you by the amazing Facebook group club, The Tides of Change. I would highly suggest checking them out. They're a really cool way to kind of get the most out of this game, Fantasy Flight Games, Star Wars. They have an interesting system where somewhere in the middle of this game, we will have what is called a tide change, and that will give the players the opportunity to change the entire direction of the story and, confuse and infuriate the heck out of me. So, that being said, you guys can sign up, help vote, get whatever idea or plot change you want to have happen in the story happen, and we will see from there. Okay, so let us begin. The water is dark, and yet everything seems clear, as a massive wave of force has pushed both Varric and Celine far away from the now sinking Imperial cruiser. As the darkness and kind of cool feel of the water just seems to envelop you, Celine, what is going through the mind of your character as you are just being pushed through this water at an incredible speed?
Okay, well, the fact that my character is quite comfortable under the water naturally is obviously contrasted with this huge explosion going off in the background. There's an odd sort of serenity to him as he is pushed forward, and it's almost like sort of coming home to him. Not being sort of out of the water is sort of out of his element. It's not. It's something he's grown accustomed to, but still not something he's entirely comfortable with when he's walking around on other planets. So he actually feels strangely serene as they're being pushed out into the water, and there's these explosions going on behind him.
Awesome. And beside you, also probably less gracefully, tumbling through the water, is Varric. Varric, you feel the same. This cool water, but you're being pushed through it at an incredibly fast speed. The Juggerhead is almost seeming to beginning to trail behind you as you're moving away, further away from both the ship and your friends. What is Varric feeling at this moment?
As you said, Beric does not have the natural affinity to this environment. However, he has been in many stressful situations that are similar to his current state. The moment that he hit the water after ensuring his companion was safely away, he allowed his own sense of serenity to move over him, first allowing his body to go limp and meet the force of the waves rather than resisting it, being propelled forward. And then once greater distance is gained, he begins his movements, struggling, probably in vain, to keep pace with Celine as he moves through the water.
Eventually, you are pushed to the edge of this gravitational field that has essentially collapsed in wake of the destruction of the generators on the cruiser. And as it begins to subside, you now find yourselves fairly far away, although within swimming distance of Juggerhead. And you, of course, are now left with a bit of a decision. You could very well swim back. It may take a few moments, well, more than a few moments. It may take a little while, but you could also swim towards the shore, towards the city. Janae beckons. Juggerhead beckons. And the choice for you, gentlemen, is now yours.
Okay, since we're under the water, I'm obviously making conversation difficult. I'm effectively going to try and sort of open my comlink without saying anything to Mercer, just to see if he gives any response, just to check on his current state, so check he's alive, etc. Since obviously if he is alive and he's back there at Juggerhead, that'll make my decision very much more different than if I think, all right, everyone on Juggerhead's dead, in which case we may as well head back to shore.
Does the communication come through?
Yeah, I would say that it does go through for the most part. You can hear like a clicking in your ear that at least something's up. So someone's either trying to communicate with you, or it's just a series of just taps, like someone's turning something on and off.
And as before the combat starts, I'm looking, running forward, and I'll hit it to make sure that I'm hearing what I'm thinking I'm hearing, and I'll try to communicate by saying we have one extra, we're on our way to fish now, Four assailants about to enter. What is going on? And then as I start floating up.
Oh, that's perfect. And I think that's an absolutely spot on transition to start up this zero gravity fight. And the first thing we're going to pop right into is just rolling that initiative. So if I could get, well, I'll roll initiatives separately for, start off with the baddie guys. Wow, okay. Apparently them Imperial troops were kind of on the ball. They must have stayed awake through zero gravity combat training.
They actually signed up for it.
Apparently, they were just, hanging out, being dudes. Just gotta open up. Okay, so that would be. And then finally, for spec. By the way, did I mention I've never actually done this before?
Offline, yes, you have.
Yeah. Wow, and a blank. So it looks like the Imperial troops will be going first, followed by Mercer, then Kojamal, and then Celine.
Spec.
Spec. That's totally what I just said.
Yes, it was.
That's right, folks. You came by for professional storytelling. Okay, so the Imperial troops, they're still floating around. They're trying their damnedest to kind of orient themselves. And how I'm going to do this is they're actually going to, if you want to try as someone, if you want to try and move, you basically are going to have to take a movement to kind of line yourself up and then fire, and then we'll carry on to the next individual. So the troopers are kind of orienting themselves, and they're kind of trying to aim down, and they collectively take fire, and it'll be one of these and one of these. Okay, so collectively, Mercer, you will take 8 wounds, and Kojamal will take 8 wounds. As they begin firing, but the only problem is what they don't realize is that as they're shooting, well, since there's kinetic energy coming out of those blasters as they're trying to fire, they're actually being pushed back and completely out of range. So the next time that you want to attack one of them, Mercer, you will get a blue bonus die. And their turn will be ending.
All right, and I was on mute this time. That's one. So seeing myself basically seeing this, and we're floating up, and kind of like at no pace since we were kind of moving forward, and I could see myself probably drifting up. What I want to do is there any other debris of like anything that was in this corridor as we were running in, or was there boxes, something?
No, the corridor was empty. There's
It was
basically
pretty much empty.
Yeah.
All right. The only way I know to move forward is basically I'm going to have to push myself off of an edge, so I'm going to have to let myself either keep floating up to an edge since I don't have any grace of gravity or ground. So I'm going to have to let my movement will continue moving until I hit some kind of surface and then line myself up with that and kick off. But until then, that's all I can do. That's one for you. You're muted.
Ah, man, that's one. I'm gonna even write that down.
It's
For
like
those
not
of you
even
folks,
5 minutes.
I know, right? For those of you folks who don't know, because I have such an issue with my microphone, if 3 times I try and talk while I'm muted, I'm actually going to award them one light side die. So that's the running gag. So whenever you hear that's one, well, you know. Anyway, you can take 2 strain and give yourself an extra move. So if you wanted to take your movement to balance yourself off a wall, take another movement and do some kind of flying fist, or if you do have your vibro knife or vibro knuckles on you, and you want to strike at them, you do have that opportunity if you want to take two strain with that.
I will take up the strain to make sure I hit the surface that I want, and then kind of line myself up. I don't have any weapons on me, so I'm going to have to make sure I get the next propulsion just right.
Sure. Not a
So
problem.
I will take the 2 strain to make sure I can line myself up with that.
Okay. So for striking, the difficulty is 3. Please remember, though, when you make your brawl attack, to add 1 blue boost die.
It'll be next round, won't be this round. I'm just lining myself up, kind of like an aim, in a sense.
Gotcha. Okay, not a problem. So the next one up is Kojamal, and Kojamal, with his bad self, is going to be lunging, like last session, with a knife. And he had his vibro knife in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, didn't mean to do that. And I just need to check out. There's the melee. Okay. So if memory serves me correctly, just because it's been a wild day. By the way, anyone who is watching, it has been a wild day because we just got a cat, and that's been so. It's on Facebook. Okay, that's all I'm going to talk about it. And if memory serves me correctly, if you have 3 brawn and 3, that's just 3. It's just 3 green. That's right. Look at that. Answered my own question. Okay. Very nice. So as Kojamal has lunged forward, kicking himself off, the dagger or his vibro knife is like just thrust ahead of him, just pointing, as one of the Imperial troops that was kind of basically flipping backwards because his back is exposed. He manages just to get him really good, dealing him. Vibro knives are. And yeah, dealing him a good 3 damage. You see one of them's really hurt. Like that knife just sunk right good in, and he's not only that, but this guy now is kind of like moving off towards in front of another Imperial troop who's going to have a very difficult time trying to shoot for the next turn. And then Spec is going to go ahead and also kick off with his kick off the wall and rush forward, kind of slashing with his combat knife as well. And that's that. One of these, one of those. Okay, so so basically, Spec in a blur not only pushes forward, slashes, basically just with a quick flurry of slashes, something that you have never seen from Spec before. It's almost like he's a rabbit possessed, and just quick slices just makes completely short work of one of the Imperial soldiers that actually was undamaged. So this guy is now just kind of floating, bouncing off the bulkheads of the hallway. Unfortunately, as Spec was doing these blows and everything else, he kind of not only gets in your way, but the Imperial troop that he kills bumps into the other guy, freeing them up as well. So now they don't really have much of a disadvantage on their next attacks. And of course, this will bring us right back to the Imperial troops, who are, now that there's three of them, one of them being injured. So we'll go like that and go like that. And now they are going to try and move back and fire again. Okay. And this time, Spec and Mercer and Kojamal, all three of you guys will get hit once for another 8 damage. And right now, Spec is not looking so great, and neither is Kojamal. Both of them are looking a little worse for wear. And now Mercer.
All right, since Spec is kind of like in my way, I'm going to have to make a late maneuver, and this is going to go from my one end to another, because I'm not going to be able to get to one of them without hurting Spec in any way, and I don't. So I'm going to have to go from one end to another, and then if I can, take the 2 strain more to move from there to my target. So
sounds good.
All right, and then we will do the normal brawl. We'll just double check it again. Let's see here. It was way too unarmed. Okay, 1 and 2. And then you did say it was 3. All right, so that's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 to the one I was basically from having like a juggernaut, getting from one area and basically getting ready to push myself off, and then I basically slam right into the other one, kind of doing like I guess a stone cold maneuver. So basically just straight up, or is it the other one? I don't remember. The Goldberg. Basically just piling my head right into his chest and maybe shoulder. So from that, so it's a lot of damage.
Nice. Yeah. I think it's safe to say that this guy's out. He's completely unconscious.
Yep. Who's next? And so there's a threat too involved.
Yeah. So the one threat, as you pushed him, as you like basically slam right into him, you kind of hit a console on the wall, and all of a sudden all the doors, you hear them just like this locking sound just locks all of them, like they all just get like locked down, almost like as if they're batting down for like if there was a riot or something else. It's just like an extra set of locks that have locked all the doors on this detention level, kind of like a panic button.
Fun. Okay.
All right. And then Kojamal, really angry that the guy that he originally stabbed is still breathing and shooting at him, will spin his body and then quickly come up again for another stabby stab. And this time he definitely takes him out. You see Kojamal, like his eyes are just inflamed with this rage and this dead set idea that this Imperial soldier that has dared injured him is going to die, and he just shouts just ah and just like leaps forward and grabs a hold of him, and in midair with the inertia spins a 360 in the air, and you just see him just stab him once, stab him again, and the Imperial troop goes limp. His blaster just begins floating into the hallway, so it's just floating off. And then Spec will also Spec will actually make an attempt to Spec will make an attempt to grab the blaster out of the air. So you can make a kick and make him a coordination check. Come on, big money. Nice. So Spec kicks himself off, just reaching, and he grabs it, but unfortunately, as he grabs it, his inertia carries him over to the wall, pushes his weight and slams his weight with the blaster into the side of the hallway, and you almost hear an audible click and a crack as the blaster just seems to be rendered kind of useless. Some of the mechanisms are just like kind of pushed out, and it seems to have broken that blaster. At this point, should be 2 Imperial troops are left. They're starting to look worried, and they're actually going to have to make cool checks. And both of them kind of look at each other as the two guys are just done. One guy's even starting to think that this may have been a very bad idea, and is starting to kind of push himself back just a little bit to kind of assess the situation. And so neither of them do anything this turn. Mercer, you are up.
Yeah, that automatically bugs my brain, because these are not the Imperial forces I was trained to ever or have fought against, and these guys are just giving up. And as quickly as I see that, I'm like, you Imperial dogs, you're not even good to be called civilians for any place. And as soon as I can get another bounce, I am headed straight to him to take him out. I mean, he's given me a fight that's not even worthy of a fight. Let's put it that way.
Well, that being said, Kojamal is just having none of it either. He sees them back off and kind of gives you a look, Mercer, and kind of points at them, shaking his head. The one guy who he stabbed, he almost uses him as kind of a jump-off point, kicking backwards and allowing this Imperial's body to kind of slam into the hallway wall. He goes forward for the nearest Imperial guardsman, and he's taking 2 strain, pushing himself to his absolute limits. He goes in for the kill. And you see him, he just manages to grab him as the Imperial soldier is kind of pushing himself like further and further back, spinning his knife down into an ice pick stance. He leans over, stabs him in the thigh in an attempt to keep him from moving any further back and try and pull him pull him in with the inertia, definitely causing him a significant amount of pain, but at the same time it leaves himself open for an attack by the second Imperial troop, who's looking like really panicked at this point. Meanwhile, Spec realizes that he broke the blaster and is really, really not cool with that at all. So seeing his buddy Kojamal leap off like that, he realizes that, well, yes, I can do this too. Yes, yes, adrenal glands. Yes, you're going to pay. And he just kind of leaps off of the wall and kind of brings his combat knife around in a combat arc, and almost like a right hook towards the other Imperial troop. And he gets him, gets him like quite good right across the armor, but cuts the armor, and you can see blood begin to kind of bubble and float. And now I'm going to need everyone in this fight to make me a coordination or athletics check, whichever one is better, with a difficulty of 3. Okay.
And that would be 5 advantage for me.
Okay. The only person actually I need to do left would be... there it is. Oh, it's the same thing. So that and that. Okay, so all of a sudden, as you see, Mercer, your eyes almost focus on the blood that is just like kind of bubbling, and it looks almost serene and funny as these like strange, oddly blobbed shapes of human blood just seem to float in the air and just float, and all of a sudden drop, just as the bodies of all the Imperial soldiers and yourselves drop as the gravity bubble has dissipated. You guys all hit the ground. You guys are all fine. The Imperial troops, not so much. One of them is unconscious. He falls like smack down straight on his noggin. The other one falls. He hurts himself. Like is definitely aggravated the wound that Spec has caused, but he's still like bleeding pretty good, trying to hold on to his stomach, and he's just looking up right now at the three of you that are beginning to walk towards him.
All right, because I was going to say with 3 of those, I just ignore environmental. So basically able to land, and kind of in the fury of that cone was started before we started floating, and the fury got pushed back. Basically, I'm going to be running towards towards one of the 2 that are basically left, and I'm just going to yank their weapon from them, and point it at them, basically. So I'm gonna maneuver to get there, yank.
It is safe to say, and I apologize for interrupting, but it is safe to say at this point that you are out of combat.
Okay.
Because the one guy's clutching his stomach, he's not doing anything. 2 guys are dead, and 1 guy is unconscious, not really moving very much.
All right, and I'm pointing this rifle at him like that. Anybody who sees a military that's holding the rifle and pointing right at him, they know one of 2 things: they have killed someone before, and they definitely know how to use this weapon. And that's how I'm facing at him. Unlock the doors now. Now.
Hey, shut it. You want them open so bad, eh? And he kind of tosses a key card, flips it up at you. Whether or not you choose to catch it, or if you want to roll to catch it, that's up to you.
No.
But
As soon as he does, I just shoot. because we have another person.
All right. So I mean, you shoot
Because
him.
that's a good like here. Pay attention to this. Don't pay attention to me. I'm 100% paying attention to this person because he's a threat, even though he isn't.
So you shoot the guy that's conscious.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So you shoot him. He's dead.
Yeah.
The other guy, the last Imperial soldier that is
Now
not
he.
dead, it is he's unconscious. Like you could try and kick him, wake him up, but revive him or anything, but he's down and out for the count.
Okay, that's what's another one. All right. Give it to Spec. I'm kind of looking. Make me whole. Here you go. This is, or you can probably just pick it up since we didn't really catch it. And that's basically what I'm going to be doing, just watching the other one, because we have to get out of this room. Or I could ask the one gentleman, which is
Wes.
Wes. That's right. Um, you know from here where we need to go.
Yeah, it's just down the hallway to the left. Come on. Here, give me that key card. And he begins. The three of you begin rushing down. You get down to the very end of the hallway. That door where the Imperial troops came out of is now shut and barred. It doesn't seem to want to open, even if you wanted to. The door on the left, the cell, putting the key card in, it almost acts as kind of a safe. The rest of the riot shielding or the riot locks seem to switch off and disengage, and the one lock that you've put the key card in for opens up, and inside you see a man. He's in a lab coat. He's a bit shorter, say 5'4", 5'3", and he's a bit squatter, like for which is strange because the lab coat that he's wearing almost seems like it's straining to stay on his shoulders. He's actually quite a heavily built person. He looks at you and kind of pushes a hand through his thick red hair, kind of scratches his beard a little. Now, who are you?
I take it you're the one who got hit by a fish.
Right, that. I was hoping to forget it.
No,
But
that's good. Thank you for identifying yourself, flying fish. Your help is needed.
aye. Well, I'm glad you're here. We've got to get out and we've got to get back to Habitat 365 right away. It's important. There's a lot of information we've got to deal with. As soon as we get in touch there, I think we should be all right. But let's get out of here as quickly as
That
we
is
can.
our mission, to get you out, to extract you.
Good. Where is your ship?
We came on boat, but the other gentleman who I can get a hold of right now, Varric, Salen, can you hear me? Salen, Varric, come in, read me.
There'll be another clicking on your comlink.
Mm-hmm. Can't seem to get a hold of them right now. We need to get them closer. Maybe the disturbance, whatever just happened, maybe interfering, or the button I pushed. But we need to get you out. And then I quickly look at. I remember at Spec. Where does it show to go from here?
Oh, yes, the map. One moment. Kind of opens it up, and it pretty much points right to the elevator, straight down to the main, and basically right back out to the main dockyard. So basically, if you want to get out, you can get out the main dockyard, or you can jump in the water and basically swim back to the city.
Yeah, we'll follow the mapping that makes it easier, because we have 301 who's with us, and then we have our asset. So we need to make sure we're going to follow that map.
Sure. And Spec says, "Oh, wait, gentlemen, wait, one moment. Um, it seems that Kojamal and I have been wounded. Blaster lacerations, possibly some contusions. One moment. It shouldn't take a second. I should just get ourselves fixed. Yes, just one moment." And he'll just perform heal checks.
And I'll kind of like look at the flying fish. Is there anything else in here that you might need that could be carried? Since we're going to be here for a little bit. Don't worry, he gets like this.
No, there's nothing. I just want to leave, to be quite honest. But I can also perform some heal checks as well, if you need it.
And I'll survive. And I'll kind of like look at them and like they might need a little something, but I think we need to get out of here sooner the better.
Okay, so wounds are patched up. Everything's kind of quickly slapped together. You hear like alarms and klaxons are going off all throughout the ship. It appears that even in the without your jailbreak aside, the massive gravitational reverse well seems to really have affected tons of systems, including, I mean, even some of the buoyancy. You can even feel that the shipyard is beginning to list just a little to one side as some of the anti-grav stabilizers to keep the shipyard stable in the ocean is starting to even fail in a couple of spots, mostly because a lot of these systems aren't necessarily meant to be exposed to zero gravity environments.
All right. And in the room, as I'm taking we're going to be leaving, what's in the room? Is there computers? Is there things in vials and stuff, or
No,
is it like a regular lab? Or
this is a detention cell. So I mean,
detention cell. Okay.
yeah. So this guy's in a jail cell. He's been sitting there waiting, basically for until he is interrogated. So yeah, there's no type of information.
All right, never mind then. Nothing in here. Okay, so then we'll follow it out as with Specs Command saying right here or left, or we need to take this at next coming elevator. I'll be in the point and weapon drawn the whole time.
Okay. And as we see our three heroes with Dr. Alani and Wes in tow rushing onto the turbo lift, they quickly go in, spin out. You see Mercer holding up a blaster almost pointed right at the doors as the doors shut. And then as that happens, we now return to Celine and Varric. And you guys are beginning to, I assume, swim back towards Juggerhead.
Yeah, since certainly for Celine, since Mercer's revealed that he's still alive by talking to us on the comms, I'll point my hand towards the direction of Juggerhead so that Varric can see what I'm planning, and then I'll start swimming through the water as quickly as I can back towards Juggerhead.
I will follow.
You're muted.
That's two. Oh man, one more and you guys get a free light side. As you guys are swimming towards, Juggerhead getting larger and larger in view, your muscles are just going, and you can feel the lactic acid coursing through your body as you're just trying to swim as fast as you can to get back to your friends, and then hopefully to fight off any Imperials you can, just to make it back with this flying fish in tow. Celine, you feel a large bump against your body as you are swimming, and it didn't come from Varric.
I'll obviously sort of glance down, my eyes accustomed to looking through the water to try and work out exactly what it is. That's 3.
And there we go. I'm just going to add 1. Lucky you. So you guys are just way too on top of this, okay? Can we just put that out there? You're just way too on top of this. When you look down, you see a large, silvery yet seemingly translucent, thick body swim straight down. It's like elongated, almost like an eel, but at the same time, still like some type of a aquatic creature, like a fish. It's tough to tell, but you just see it swim like straight down, so quick you almost lose sight of it.
Okay, if it's something that doesn't appear to be posing an immediate threat to us, I'm going to assume that it's some part of the native wildlife on this planet, and will continue swimming, but I will be sort of keeping an eye out for if this thing should double back and make an attempt to return back and have a crack at us effectively.
Okay. So you guys keep on swimming some more, and Selena will ask you now to make a perception check.
Okay.
And that'll be a difficulty of 3.
That's 1 advantage.
Okay. As you look back for a moment, you being a Quarren, not only can you see fairly well, but the one thing that a Quarren definitely has an advantage of is you can see movement in the water. Like you can see the displacement of water underwater, if this makes any sense to what I'm saying. If not, then I blame the beer. Okay, good. And you can see the push, so you know something has just swam past you, and you get that feeling that whatever that thing was that had bumped you earlier is now stalking you.
Okay, what I'm going to attempt to do is Varric within sort of reaching distance of me? How near to me is he?
I'm not sure. Varric, how close are you? Or how close would you be swimming to Celine at that point?
Assuming that he wasn't outpacing me too much, I'd probably be within arm's reach of him.
Okay.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab hold of Varric, sort of like somewhere where I can sort of grab hold of him to sort of pull him along without affecting his speed too much. Then I'm going to sort of put my face next to his, and I'm going to shut my eyes tightly and then open them, hoping that he'll get the gist that I want him to close his eyes. Then what I'm going to do is, since I have some idea of how this thing might behave, I'm extrapolating based on the wildlife of my own planet. I'm going to turn round as we swim ahead, and I'm going to expel this huge cloud of ink from my face, to sort of, which spreads out even further in the water, hopefully masking our physical presence and hopefully confusing any sort of sense of smell or disturbances that the beast might be tracking us with. Then I'm just going to sort of hold on to Varric and effectively try and sort of pull him along and sort of guide him while this ink's dispersing out in the water.
Nice. And you know, this ink just straight out, and as though, like, just in a moment, what was once this pristine blue water is suddenly like this black, almost as if all like the light went out in this one section. And as it begins to just almost wrap around you and just extend outward, this creature will suddenly lunge out and try and attack. Now, if memory serves me correctly, Celine, I add a despair die, or would I add 1 red?
Because it's underwater, you add 2 despair dice.
Okay, thank you.
So two setback dice.
Excellent. Okay, so all of a sudden almost out of this inky blackness, you just see this maw with these razor sharp teeth just clamp down, and it tries to the way it seems to be trying to bite. It seems like it's trying to bite your body, and you see what very well could like clamp down on your torso and just shake you apart. But it seems to just its jaw, like, because it can't quite see you, its jaw just kind of like snaps. This lower jaw snaps up. It catches a bit onto your arm and cuts through your padding, and then just swims away as it realizes that it missed. And now you three will be rolling initiative.
Okay. So I presume it's cool we're rolling since we're aware of it, is it?
Yes, that would be correct.
One success, one advantage.
Nice. Whoops. My mistake. I did that wrong. Ignore that. That didn't happen. Okay, that's better. And okay, and what about you, Dennis?
One advantage, it looks like.
Oh, okay. So this creature will go first. It starts off by, you see it swim around almost out of range, and then comes spinning around and charging back at you. Sorry, I wrote down the stats for it.
No problems.
And it attempts to try and bite you again. And not only does it miss, but it tries to, as it kind of bites, it tries to shoot its whole body around again, but it seems to kind of stumble as only a fish could stumble in the water. It kind of makes no sense, but it moves its body in such a way that it just totally exposes itself for it'll be for Celine to basically put the hurt on.
Okay, well, my initial reaction is, as we're sort of swimming forward, we've got some momentum. I'm still holding on to Varric. My sort of instinctive reaction will be to like release him so he carries on forward, and I would sort of gesture for him to go on, knowing that he's probably going to be the most help to Mercer if he gets to the Juggerhead station. Then I'm going to turn around towards the creature, just take a brief momentary glance around so I can get a look at taking the full sort of magnificent and huge size of this like gargantuan eel-like creature. Then I dart back towards it, kicking my legs, pulling out my combat knife from my sheath, so that's on my leg, and sort of swim back towards it. And as I'm heading towards it, using my quite high perception skills, I'm looking for where I think the sort of sensory node would be on the creature, so I can effectively try and do it like a stinging blow to a sensitive area, just to discourage it to go and find easier prey.
Whew, thank goodness. I almost started talking with it muted. See, this is like learning by getting punished for not learning. All right, so make your attack. It'll be a difficulty of, tell you what, it'll be 2 purple and 1 red, because you're trying to aim for a very specific spot on this creature. Mm-hmm. So actually, sorry, ignore that. Make it 2 purple and 1 setback die. That was that was my bad.
Okay, that's a failure and 2 threat.
Okay. So as you go to kind of stab at it, this creature kind of realizes that you're just trying to fight back, so it jerks its body as its bones almost seem very segmented. It's extremely flexible creature. So as you go and stab at it, it almost like it's part of its spine just twists itself, and not only do you miss, but it twists its spine and then twists the front half of it around, and it turns and it sees you now and is ready to attack you.
I'll sort of inwardly curse in my head, thinking I've obviously spent far too much time in space. My swimming skills are getting a little bit sloppy. I've been out of the water too long.
That's actually a really good point. And now we'll bring it to Varric.
So how far am I away from this ongoing confrontation here?
You shouldn't be really that far away. I mean, he's giving you a little push, but I mean that could have moved you like 3 inches. So for the most part, unless you start swimming towards Juggerhead, you're pretty much right where he is.
Okay, and so basically the creature tried to bite him again and missed, and then he tried to attack the creature and missed. So where am I located? Is it like swimming by me? Is it going towards me? Can I get at its maw at all, or?
Right now, its whole body has turned to face Celine. Basically, as you're looking at it, you're looking at its side, the side of its head. So if you can attack.
Does it have any kind of gills or anything?
If it does, they're extremely narrow and very tight to the body.
Okay, well, I'm just going to, since my pike would be kind of hard to get to and awkward right now, I'm just going to pull out my vibro knife and take a stab at it.
Right on. Now, keep in mind, I have never heard of blasters not being able to work underwater. So if you guys do have a blaster pistol or something like that, don't worry about it not working underwater, because unless someone tells me that it's different in canon, I'm pretty sure that that blasters do work. Unless someone's told me, unless someone else knows something otherwise. Okay, I'll take that as a no. So
yeah, Varric does not take to firearms well. He prefers much up close and personal touch.
That's very true. However, you do have your force pike with you still.
That's true, and that's not electrical, and that would give me a little bit more range. Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and do that.
All right.
Since that's what he's most used to using.
Okay. And with that, I will say please add 1 setback die, as I am burning a dark destiny point, because you're not used to fighting underwater, and you haven't really fought a lot of giant, carnivorous, dangerous eels. At least none that you've mentioned in your backstory.
Yeah.
Just gonna throw
This is my first foray into the underwater realm of. There's not too many eels on assassination lists, I don't think. So.
Yeah, you never know.
So, 2. And since this is a brawn-based attack, I will use my natural genetics. We'll use a strain to gain boost die. And you said 2 difficulty and 1 setback? Or is it 3 difficulty? Muted, sir.
It's a large creature. So yeah, it's too difficult. Like, basically it's like you'd have the accuracy of a stormtrooper if you couldn't hit it.
Oh, okay. That's no pressure at all, right?
But that's an argument for another time, folks. It's an argument for another time.
Yeah, so 4 hits and 2 threat.
Very nice. What is the...
And I have a suggestion. I don't know if you have in mind for the threat. So basically, since as I pull the force pike out, I activate the pierce ability, and basically, so I stab deep into its flesh, and the threat is that the force pike is stuck inside its flesh. If that works for you.
I like that. Now help me out with the damage. That's
Okay, the damage is
10?
11, I believe. Let me double check. I got it down here. Yeah, force spike is 11, and with pierced, it's got pierced 2, so it ignores 2 soak.
Okay. It's very safe to say that you pretty much like critically hit this thing. So I get to go jump onto the critical injury chart because 4 successes is essentially a triumph. So you critted this guy pretty good. And once I get to that,
Yeah, it says the crit is 2 for the force pike.
okay, so you've critted twice.
Okay, that's nice.
Well, that's essentially.
I'll take that for $1.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Your bill will be in the mail. And as soon as I can find, there it is. Okay. So please roll me a percentile die, and
84?
then 84, and then add 10 to it, so that'd be a 94.
Is it like higher numbers good, or is it just random?
No, higher numbers are definitely good when it comes to.
So 94, that's pretty good then.
That's very good. So the creature has what's called on the brink. Its target will suffer 1 strain each time it performs an action now, which includes attacking. You've hurt this thing really good. Right now, it is like you must have hit the exact nerve cluster that Celine was trying to hit beforehand. So this thing's hurt pretty bad, but it's raging now. Of course, I had to drop my pencil. It kind of snaps its body towards you, realizing that you're the one that actually hurt it, and it's going to make an attack and flick its tail at you, Varric. So. Okay, so it flips around and it just smacks you full on in the body, pushing you back about a good 3 or 4 feet, and you will be taking 8 damage as a result of that hit, which will bring me back to Celine.
Okay, seeing that Varric has bought me some time, I'm using that distraction as the creature turns its attention away from me to draw out my blaster pistol. I'm using one of my maneuvers to aim carefully at it, and then I squeeze the trigger, firing at the creature.
Nice. That will again. That's a difficulty of 2.
2 successes and 2 advantages.
Very nice.
So
And what's the? I was going to say,
it's
what?
Damage 5, but it would have an extra 1 because of the additional success.
6, yeah.
And what I'd like to do, if I can, is I'd like to use my 2 advantages to give Varric a bonus to his next action, a boost dice. So as I've sort of shot it, maybe I've hit it somewhere near one of its eyes, causing it to momentarily lose sight of Varric, and he can press home his advantage.
Nice. I like that. I very much like that. And then that turns us over to Varric.
Well, I guess I need to try to remove my force pike first, correct? Since
You can. You can also pull out another weapon and try to kill it.
okay, yeah. So basically, I'll keep my grip on it with my left hand as I pull out my vibro knife and give it the old prison shank to the side.
The old prison shank. Okay, and then don't forget to add a boost die to your roll. The damage or the difficulty of that will be also a 2. And again, I'll add another dark force, so it'll be 2 and a setback die.
Okay. And I also will be using another strain for my genetics for my attack. Okay. So 2, 1, 2, 2. Double check that. It's still melee. Yeah, 2 and 2. Come on. No whammy. I'll take it. 2 successes and 4 advantage.
Well, then all I can say is this. How do you kill this thing?
So, yeah, basically, as it whacks me and, kind of sends me flying, but I maintain my grip on my force pike. As it becomes distracted with Celine, I basically slide a hand into the sheath by my ribs, pull out the knife, and just proceed. My hands moving as a blur as I continue to bury it in this flesh, pull it out, bury it in the flesh, and just stab it like 20 times.
Nice. And that thing is just now, you can see the fight is just leaving it. The tail's twitching, the everything is moving, but it's on its death throes, and he begins to twitch and twitch some more, and then with its last kind of muscle spasm, it begins to sink down into the depths.
I'll sort of watch it disappear into the deep depths of this planet's ocean, feeling a little bit sad that we sort of actually had to kill it. I mean, I know it was it or us, but obviously it's just an animal. It's just doing what it's supposed to do. We have many such creatures on my home world, so I watch it for a few moments, then shake my head a little and remember, no, we've got business we need to deal with first, and I'll gesture again in the direction of Juggerhead to Varric and start swimming off in the original direction we were taking.
As the large creature stills, I'll plant my feet on its side as I pull my force pike free. Kind of use that momentum to head in the direction that we need to go towards the Juggerhead.
No worries. And at that moment, you guys begin to go. You can actually see, probably maybe 200-300 feet away, you can actually see the bottom of the boat that you guys had arrived on Juggerhead on is now coming quite plainly into view. But with that, we're going to go back to the view up at the bottom of the turbolift. The doors just open, with this like kind of, doors open up, and there is Mercer holding the blaster carbine, just sweeping from side to side. And right now, you see almost nothing.
All right. Proceed forward. Any movement, gun's going to quickly go with my eye, because it's wherever my eye is going, that's where the gun is going. So basically moving in, moving forward, and waiting for everybody else to follow. And once in a while I'll be checking in with my comms. Varric, Salen. Kind of like no contact yet. Damn nabbit, I hope they blow this thing up soon. And
Nice.
so, yeah, so other than that, yeah, if there's movement, that's where the end of the nozzle is going to go.
Okay. Uh, as you as you begin, you again the main kind of docking area seems pretty quiet. You know, there's very few people, if anybody, inside. Like there's not a lot of noise. Um, as you burst through onto like kind of the docking ramp that leads down to the small mooring area where the boat is, you do see one figure standing on the boat,
Okay.
and I don't know who that figure is,
Ah,
but one of you three know who that figure is, because this is where we're going to put the tide change.
one of you two people know.
Correction, yes, apologies. So we'll go from start on my left, on the farthest left. Varric, who is on the boat?
I will say it's another prime.
Okay. And Celine?
Okay, so just to check, this is as Mercer's heading out, someone stood on the boat sort of waiting for him, is that correct?
Yeah, there's someone standing just on the boat by themselves, doing whatever.
Okay, at which point I'm going to say that because there's experimental technology in the Juggerhead station, it would stand to reason that they would have some normally pretty heavy defences to disregard that. So I'd actually like to say it's effectively like a stormtrooper sergeant stood in the boat. He's been separated from the rest of his squad, or they've been killed by the collapse of Juggerhead, and he's been trying to make his way off the station as well. And he obviously sees Mercer sort of come running out of Juggerhead just as he's getting into the boat.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Then that will be our one of two tide changes for this evening. So anybody who is watching or who will be on the Facebook group, I'll be putting these up, and we will be taking a 15-minute break. And after that, we will find out how all these players are going to die. I mean, what's going to happen next. So until then, chill out, and we will see you guys soon. right. Well, hello to our one viewer who is currently watching right now. Um, so far, so good. I think we're going to be ready in just a few moments once the tide change gets completely completed, which I think it's pretty much there. And again, to anyone who either watches now or watches later, please keep in mind that we are playing as part of the wonderful Tides of Change role-playing club based off of Facebook. It's a really a lot of fun and a great way to kind of learn an entirely different way of playing a game, especially a role-playing game like this. It's very very exciting, especially when you have people who are able to just completely change the whole story right off the bat. Definitely kind of a bit of a pain, but it can be very challenging and just fantastic. So I would highly suggest that if you ever wanted to check out a game, and if you've ever watched an RPG session and say, no, you know what, I would have loved to take the story in this direction, give it a shot. I would highly suggest you give it a shot because it is worth it. It is entirely worth it. That being said, all of our phenomenal players are back, and I think that we are going to be ready to carry on. Okay. As Mercer breaks through the sunlight, almost blinding you from the interior lights that you've experienced thus far and for a while. You do just start to make out a figure on board the boat that you have arrived in. He is clad in white lamellar armor. He is kind of moving a blaster rifle slowly left to right. He's checking out the cockpit, looking around to see if anyone is currently there. Not seeing anyone, he kind of spins around, and then he sees the five of you exiting the building, making your way down to the skiff. He points his blaster up at you and says, "Stop there! Who are you people?"
Taking the point and hearing this, who are we? I'll quickly order guys get down out of cover, and basically just to give it more of the cinematic, it's not going to be firing at him, but it's going to be start the firing. So it's going to be firing at his side. It's going to be like basically like kind of a type of shot. It's going to go side by side of him, and ready for the actual initiative, because I'm just kind of getting them to get down, so giving them cover fire so they can get down wherever they need to be covering. Because we have two assets that need to be taken care of and have not been proven in battle yet, so I'm not even sure what they're capable of. We have two people who are hurt who could actually help doing the cover. It's only one person. Shouldn't be too bad. And that's the cockiness of Mercer.
All right, that sounds good. Well then, we will roll initiative for this then. And as soon as we do that,
All right, so we go at the same time. I'll let you take that first fire since I've given him my warning.
Sure, not a problem. Just for ease of everything, I can take their turns, but for the most part, Kojamal and Spec are
That's
NPCs. They are,
I was expecting him to cover. I mean, it makes sense.
yeah. At this point in time, he kind of shocked and making a reaction fire. He will shoot at you, Mercer, but because of your expert cover fire, he will definitely have a lot more difficulty with that. Okay, even though he fires off kind of wildly into the air and definitely doesn't quite hit you, it does cause your head to go down, and thus giving him some enough time to himself get into cover.
Okay.
Also, can I please have Celine and Varric roll initiative as well, as you two are now within range to get on the boat?
2 successes, 2 advantages from me.
Very nice.
One success, 2 advantages.
Okay. Okay. So right now, as it stands, Celine, you are going to be first out of the gate. When you kind of move, you can move pretty much up to the boat at this point, and you could probably just climb on. If you go and climb on, you probably can't make an attack. You can try and maybe swim around to kind of get an angle that maybe you could shoot him from the water.
Okay, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to swim up to the boat. I'm going to try and swim around so I'm behind like the side of the boat that this stormtrooper's stood on, as I sort of look up from the water and I see him. Then what I'm actually going to try and do is I'm effectively going to try and swim up and burst out of the water at the last minute, grab hold of his legs, and just like pull them backwards, knocking him off his feet onto the boat. So to give Mercer the advantage, rather than actually try to injure him, I'm just trying to knock him prone, effectively.
Okay, let's roll a brawl for that. On a success, you will definitely grab his legs. Any advantages, you will definitely knock him prone, and it'll be a difficulty of 3.
Okay, would I be able to take a boost dice due to the element of surprise, as literally my arms come up and grab hold of his legs from an unexpected quarter?
Yes, you know what? I'll allow that. Yeah, I like it.
Let's give it a shot. Then I'm going to spend one of our force points to upgrade one of my dice. So as I burst out of the water, I grab hold of his legs, but he's obviously a lot heavier than I was expecting. I've got used to the water and how it supports my weight, so I'm feeling more of the effect of gravity as I burst out, plus the weight of his armor that he's wearing. And as I grab hold of his legs and pull, I don't manage to pull him off his feet, and he obviously looks down and he can see these red arms reaching up out of the water and grabbing hold of him.
That was very unfortunate. I was actually quite rooting for you on that one, because I thought that was a brilliant idea. It's actually the stormtrooper's turn next, and he goes to move and he kind of feels like, the hell? There's a corn on my leg. What? So he goes and he's going to try and break that, and it's going to be for him. It's going to be his athletics versus your athletics. If you want to try and keep holding on, Celine.
Okay, so presumably that had just set the difficulty of his roll at whatever the difficulty of my athletics is.
Pretty much, yeah. So if you could just give
Okay,
me
so it'd be difficulty 2 for him, just 2 purple then, so I've only got 2
yeah.
green athletics.
Wow. So he manages to kind of get one leg almost free of one of your arms, but in doing so, he still kind of moves himself into a disadvantageous position. He can't quite get it. Like you're on there, you're holding on for dear life, like rodeo riding a rancor. Like you're just gripping on as
Okay,
tight as you can.
as he pulls his leg free, I'm just effectively going to make a rude sign at him with my free hand.
Of course. All right, and then that goes on to Mercer.
All right. So I'm actually going to move up on him. I'm going to do one movement and then do the strain. But if he's supposed to be one of the Imperial's finest, hopefully now this is a better one-on-one fight because I don't even see Celine at his feet, but I know he's wrestling with something. But if this is supposed to be one of the Empire's finest versus one of the Republic's up and coming, I'm definitely going to give it my best. So double movement, and we'll take the strain because of what it is, and it's kind of my as part of my duty for going up against their best. And depending on how close I get, either I'm going to shoot or I'm going to basically use the weapon itself to actually knock him out. So depending on how far I can get to him.
Okay, so at this stage, you could probably go from medium to short. You do have to meander around some boxes, some crates. You start heading down the gantry way towards the actual mooring point of the skiff, and that's where he is right now, behind those crates that were right next to the cockpit or the pilot house, wrestling with who knows what.
Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and then take a quick position and then fire at him, and tell me the difficulty I need. Sure. I know it's short.
It is short. It is now even though he is wrestling with Celine, he is still undercover, so that'll be that will be still 3 difficulty.
Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and use a dark light side for the Destiny and bring up my firing for him, so it'll be 3. And that will, depends on what that gun does, plus 1 more. The one that you gave me.
So the blaster carbine is a damage of 8.
So 9.
Yeah. So it'll be 9. You see him. He takes a good shot in the shoulder, kind of spins off a bit, realizing that you're now closer to him. He kind of shakes it off really quick and takes an advantage, kind of positioning his body directly in front of you. And now, Varric, it is your turn.
Okay, so am I correct that Celine still has a grip on one of the guy's legs?
That is correct. And there's only one guy. It's just
right.
one.
One of the legs of the guy, yeah. So basically, what I want to attempt to do is Varric to burst from the water, basically climbing up Celine, and leap at the guy. I won't be able to get all the way out, but basically, bear crawl up Celine to get out of the water, and then basically, with my vibro knife, stab him in the thigh.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I like this. I really like this a lot. So I'll tell you what. Make me a coordination check to expertly climb up Celine, and if you make that, then we'll do an attack as normal, because you are close enough to make the attack. But if you want to ninja your way up using a Quarren as a ladder, we're gonna have to do something for that.
It's
So it'll be
Finding techniques. What? How many difficulty?
it's going to be a difficulty of 2 purple and 1 red, as I am using a destiny die because you have never used a cephalopod to climb up onto a ship before.
But this is a training method that I will practice going forward.
That's probably a good idea. Just, if you ever need to use a Quarren as a ladder, this is something you may want to.
Coordinated teamwork attacks. Okay, so here we go. Fingers crossed. So, a threat and advantage. So,
Okay.
that kind of cancels them out, doesn't it?
That's.
Or no, it's just a failure and a.
Yeah, it's a failure.
Advantage.
So, although you run up and you have your vibro knife out, you manage to grab a hold of him, but in doing so, you don't get on. You actually slip off of Celine. But as you grab a hold of Celine to try and boost yourself up, you actually help Celine pull the stormtrooper's leg out from under him, and it causes the stormtrooper to stumble.
Quarrens are slippery in the water. Who would have guessed?
Yeah, I know, right? Damn Quarrens. And now, what this will do is actually, Celine, this will actually give you an advantage on the next either attack or whatever it is that you want to do this guy.
Okay, so as he sort of stumbles forward, I'm going to continue applying the extra weight that Varric has kindly added to me, sort of pull him off his feet. As he falls down, once again, this sort of cloud of, I suppose it's more like a puddle, now I'm out of the water, of ink just sort of sprays onto his face as he falls onto the boat. And then, since I've still got my blaster in my hand, I'm just going to stick my blaster into his back and and open up on him.
I just like it. I like it. And I'm just trying to think. Like, I don't even want to make you roll an attack roll per se. It's actually, excuse me, I'm wrong. Roll your attack as normal. It's a difficulty of 1.
Okay.
Just in case of.
That is 4 advantages. So what I'd actually like to do is, as I pull him down and I spray this ink in him and attempt to fire my blaster into him, he somehow manages to roll to one side, avoiding me, but he rolls like right at Mercer's feet. So I'm going to pass a boost dice onto Mercer, and then I'll pass the second one onto Varric if it's necessary.
Nice. Yes. And the next up will actually be the stormtrooper, who is busy trying to wipe his mask off, trying to like take the crud off his eyes. As he looks up and sees Mercer, his first instinctive reaction is to grab his vibro knife, reach up and try and stab, kind of like upside down and up and over at him. And that will be, oops, one of these. Okay. So
Mike, you should have also had 1 setback dice there because of the ink.
Apologies, right. So that one didn't count for nothing. There we go. That just saved. Look at that. Look at that. Don't ever forget that Celine is a hero. As he's trying to wipe it away, and he kind of gets a small glimpse of you, reaches and he kind of flicks up his knife to try and stab you, but not only does he not really stabs you, but he actually stabs it into the pilot house, into like the kind of like the corrugated metal of the pilot house, and you just hear the vibro knife humming in this metal cage, causing it to like just vibrate into this like beautiful, almost beautiful humming sound. but he clearly misses you. And now, Mercer, it is your turn.
All right, I'm going to move up on him and with the stock of the blaster, knock him out. He clearly wasn't one of the Empire's finest. We may have gotten. I mean, do I see Varric or Celine at this time? I'm coming up on them as that's when I see them.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, like seeing him, his face like splattered with this black ink. Him hit the ground. Like you can even see Varric. Well, you can't quite see Varric, but you can definitely see Celine. With his hands kind of like still on his one leg.
So it's definitely 2-on-1. There's a little bit of honor to be given. No need to kill him because we could still use him in a sense. So step up to him and then hit him with the stock of the weapon to knock him out.
Okay. So then please make me a. What would you call this? You just call this a melee attack?
It'd be a melee brawl, yeah.
Okay. So melee, difficulty of 2 because he is wearing armor, but do add a boost die to your.
Yes. So it will be 4. That's bypass through armor because it's a stun, plus 2 advantage. Let me see the advantage table again. I'm going to notice something of importance on conflict in this. He actually has some kind of key to actually operate the boat. And the type of key that it would be he would still, I don't know if it's biometrics or something, but basically it's something that only he, if he was living, could actually have to operate the boat or start it to get it going.
Okay, yeah, I like it. So with that, he's hit. He's definitely stunned, and he's kind of just woozy, and he's definitely not fighting anymore. Even his blaster was dropped to the side. Mercer, if you have a chance to look at it, you notice that it's actually a good blaster. I mean, it's something that not just any Imperial soldier or even any stormtrooper would have. This one seems to have like a really nice optics kit on it. Like if you wanted to make a long distance shot, like this is definitely the kind of kit you want to have.
And I'll quickly yell, Kojima, Spec, move to the boat. Bring our assets.
Yes, Mercer. Okay. So he runs and grabs and Spec's like, oh yes. Come quickly. We don't want to have any contusions or lacerations or any type of burns or anything. Let's just go, shall we? Yes, please, let's hurry. And he books it. Books it onto the boat with Kojamal and Dr. Alani, Flying Fish, and Wes. So they all pile on, and who is going to be piloting this boat?
The pilot of our ship.
I'll sort of step forward as Mercer's saying that, and I'll say, "Well, I'm more used to space flight, but it looks simple enough." And I'll sort of sit myself. I'll put a hand down to help Varric onto the boat quickly, and then I'll jump behind the controls of this boat.
You're going to need his gauntlet to operate this boat. There's something different about that gauntlet.
Can you get it off him?
Yeah, a couple notches here, so kind of unbuckle it. I'll actually put my knee when I'm down there. Put my knee on his chest, right underneath the helmet, and that's actually going to come off later. And that's where I'll put my knee as I untake off his gauntlet to actually give it to Celine so he can actually operate the boat. Yeah, another prop. The prop master.
Right. This looks simple enough. Let me see, and I'll start fiddling around with the controls and sort of testing out this gauntlet, etc. Ready to get us underway, hopefully.
Nice. Please make me a piloting. Is it planetary vehicles?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. So if you can make me 3 of those. Make them as you've never used, like really piloted a lot of naval vessels, like surface naval vessels before. It'll be kind of a difficulty of about 3, and we'll see what happens from there.
So 1 success, 1 triumph, first one. Okay, second one. 2 successes, 1 threat. And for the last one, 1 success and 1 threat.
Nice. So you guys just plow out as you begin going. You begin to see some more stormtroopers are kind of like rushing to the docks as you're almost peeling out, and you don't really know how to kind of peel out on a boat, but this is a whole new experience, and it's kind of interesting because you kind of realize that, wow, like these land-based creatures, like they sure do love their speed over top of the water, and you can kind of understand how this would kind of be kind of fun. As you back up and you kind of spin, like, it's creating this big wake. These stormtroopers begin firing, and you see even another like slower skiff kind of moving, and stormtroopers are starting to pile on, which is odd.
I'm gonna punch it and basically floor it and go to top speed as quickly as I can.
All right. So as your second roll, the 2 successes, you manage to really gain on these guys, but at the same time, you've left kind of like a large area exposed on the ship. Instead of performing a nice zigzag pattern, the stormtroopers like just begin firing, and they have a clear line of sight. So they begin firing off at it, and the skiff does have a bit of damage to it, but you manage to like just kind of weave out of the way, and in weaving out of the way for your third roll, you kind of manage to create a large enough wake that seems to kind of slow them down. But as you kind of lean off and move and kind of almost side swipe to the right-hand side back over, you're coasting out to Janae. You almost smash into a small fishing boat, tipping it over, causing a couple of people to like go flying out of the boat. And it's like, "You crazy bat!"
I'll look back over my shoulder and I'll be like, "Sorry about that."
And you just peel out. You manage. You try to park the skiff, but of course, again, all new to you, and you just manage to like kind of carve into the steel and concrete pylons and kind of merge both the mooring section and the vessel kind of into one as it just smashes right in. Dr. Alani's like, "So you're from an ocean planet, but you've never done a boat before, right? Is this new to you?"
Yes, of course it is. We don't travel on top of the water, we travel under the water. Movement on top of the water, preposterous idea, preposterous.
Right, well, it's what
anyway,
we do.
They say any landing you can walk away from's a good one, so.
Fair enough. Right. Wes, let's go to 365. Got a lot of news about Juggerhead. We've got to get sorted out.
And through the commotion, I probably would have been trying to return fire, but hard to do with his movements and getting out of the boat. I would have definitely been keeping my eye on that other one, and doing any type of return fire with this new weapon. The new blaster, or the old blaster, I'll actually kind of give it to Kajima, since he basically kind of lost that one during the other confrontation. So we replaced that with him, and then basically that's how we're getting out.
I like the sound of that. So you folks are now at the docks um, in Janae. You do have your weapons out. You are going to be, you just walked out of clearly an oceanic accident, or at least a mooring accident. Um, what are you guys doing right now?
Letting out a sort of audible sigh of relief that we've actually managed to get away from this ocean-going vessel. I'm just going to look over at Mercer, since I've been so concentrating on just getting the hell out of there. I hadn't really thought ahead. I'll just turn around to Mercer and I'll go, what do we do now, Mercer? Where next?
Back to the. Oh, it was not muted. Back to our rendezvous, 356 or 365 habitat. We got to get back there and bring these gentlemen back in. We'll try to get them there. Maybe they'll, if we can get more in line, they won't follow us. But just to be sure,
I suggest we
I will
look
actually start firing on the engine of this boat to actually cause an explosion and maybe smoke and fire so that they don't see us where we return. I mean, I know that's more of Kajimo's thing, but
Um, Spec, as you kind of aim it, and whether or not you were vocal with your plan, Spec kind of puts his hand on top of your weapon, and he says, don't you think there's been enough violence today? Plus, I if we fire our weapons here, then the people over there, all the Imperial garrison might come, and that would not be advisable. Uh, if that's okay.
It does seem a shame to destroy such a lovely boat as well.
and kind of look at them and we're like, well, this is war,
That's
but
true.
war isn't quite here. And let's go. Let's let the boat slide. Um, and at this point is then I will actually retrieve the helmet of the stormtrooper.
While the conversation is going on, as soon as the boat met the dock, Varric exits the boat and attempts to slip into the crowd, putting him some distance between himself and the others, but staying close, but lost within the crowd.
And as you guys are beginning to kind of disperse into the crowd, people are talking and pointing fingers at this boat that has clearly been carved into the pier. The only individual on it is a stormtrooper who's unconscious and just kind of laying there. He's kind of groggy and coming to, and then some people are even like running down to grab the stormtrooper and kind of help him out of the boat, as he's just he's a person in distress. You guys create enough of a distraction to kind of move your way through the crowd and move your way up the streets.
Okay, as we move, I'll be keeping a close eye out with my powers. I'm fairly perceptive. I'll be keeping an eye out for any signs of hostiles or anything like that as we're moving. I'll suddenly reach up to my head and I'll turn around and in a slightly trying to whisper but still quite irate, I'll be like, "Oh, damn it! I've lost my hat." And then I'm just going to pull the hood up on my clothes in some futile attempt to disguise myself, and I'll start following along, harumphing under my breath.
And he becomes a Sith Quarren. Yes, there must have been a reason why you did. I knew there was. Yeah, there's a reason why you didn't have your hat on. It's well played, sir. Well played. And if you want to make a perception check, with probably a difficulty of 4, you can have a look to see if there's anything kicking around. You see absolutely nothing other than a panicked crowd, an excited crowd, people coming, kind of stumbling out of the bad motivator bar, kind of looking over like, oh, what's going on here? And people are pointing and just it's something that the normally kind of quiet small city of Genet just these things usually don't happen. It's very much you get up, you go to work, you come back from work, you drink a bit, you go to sleep, you get up, and so on and so forth. You guys seem to have waded your way through the thick of the group, or the thick of the crowds, as a few people here and there start running down the very the steep hills, the steep roads leading down to where the docks are. You begin to wind yourself away. And you manage to once again back to this large stone building that seems to be kind of carved from the natural spire formation, and again the broken protocol droid. Oh, hello. Nice to see you back. If I could see. Oh dear. And you kind of all walk in. To greet you, unsurprisingly, Arshan walks in. I did not think I would see you back here again. Do you know why?
Because we weren't supposed to return here? And I'll ask a question like, were we not supposed to bring these gentlemen here?
Oh, yes. Forgive me. Of course you were supposed to bring them here. What you were not supposed to do, however, was kill many of the workers that were on Juggerhead. I don't know what you were thinking when you decided to blow up or create some sort of a gravity field. But do you realize what was happening to the people that were working outside when you decided to blow this thing up?
The gravity well was done by the Imperials. That was not done by us, as far as I know.
Yes, that wasn't part of our plan. They triggered the mechanism themselves.
And I'll look at Celine and Varric like, that wasn't what you blowed up, right? Because I don't know that portion. So
no, we destroyed enough of the ship to make it inoperable. The gravity well effect being generated had nothing to do with us, to the best of my knowledge.
For your sake, I hope so. In any case, I am glad to see you back. Hopefully, there will be enough damage control among our part to have these people understand that it was these Imperial animals that caused this wanton level of destruction. Initial reports coming back saying well over 100 civilians died there. Unfortunately, if it is as you say, then these Imperials have one more crime to be accountable for.
Indeed, I don't know the exact why they triggered it or what happened. But perhaps it was some attempt to bring a defense mechanism or something online after our initial demolitions charge. I really don't know, but I can say with certainty it wasn't anything we deliberately triggered.
And I'll actually look at Flying Fish. Is it some kind of defense mechanism like he was saying? Is it something that was in their protocol that you knew about? Since you are, after all, you were their lead designer.
It is true. I was a lead designer. I've never worked on this vessel. We've all seen it, but I never worked on it myself. But it doesn't make any sense. Why would you have a gravity well ship activate as part of a defense mechanism? It's odd. It's too odd.
Well, one thing I did notice, Flying Fish, is that when we were trying to escape, we almost didn't make it due to the gravity field attempting to pull us back. Maybe it was some attempt to try and entrap us and prevent us from escaping. I don't know. Perhaps they were desperate given the demolitions that had already gone off. But we nearly didn't make it out. We had to shed a lot of our equipment to escape.
Well, whatever the case, what we'll do is we'll probably have I would suggest a full investigation, Arshan. This way we could find out exactly what happened. Yes, yes, I agree. But forgive me, Dr. Alani, Flying Fish. Welcome. I'm so happy that you are safe now. You won't be very happy when we talk about what we have to talk about. Look, you lads, you come with me and Narshan. We're going to have to talk about what really goes on at that so-called shipyard.
All right, let's talk about it then.
And he kind of looks to Arshan. Arshan kind of points to the command room. The other rebels are just kind of poking their heads and kind of looking, in a bit of morbid curiosity, like, well, what's going on? And Arshan quickly shuts the door.
I'll stand at attention, but more at ease in front of the door. In case anybody came in, they just can't just rush right on in.
Okay, so are you inside the room?
Inside the room.
Them? Okay.
But
at
the door, right
Gotcha.
on the door.
Okay, gotcha. So you, as Dr. Alani, Arshan, and Wes, they all sit down. Dr. Alani kind of nods his head. I am a ship designer, or at least I was a ship designer for Sinar Fleet Industries. I worked on quite a few vessels, sometimes out of Kuwait, sometimes out of other places. Even once at the testing facility at Korlag. But the strangest thing that I've ever seen has been in Juggerhead. And not just because it's a planetary shipyard, which in itself is odd. But the weird thing is one day when I was working and doing a bit of research, an odd thing came across my desk, and this is the weird thing. It was a manifest. I mean, I think it was an accident or something, but it was talking about manufacture of some type of biomedical implant. Well, the weird thing is, it looks like they're using Juggerhead. They build ships on the surface, but underneath, in the sublevels, they're manufacturing some type of biomedical implant, something they can just put into people. I don't know what it's for exactly, but it's really strange. It looks like there are three components to this thing. There's a software code, and it looks like this software code is custom made for each individual, and it comes from Raltir, which of all places is quite strange, but whatever. Anyway, the biomedical area comes from Thyfera, which makes sense given the Bacta cartels and all that. The third piece of it, the electronics, the hardware, comes from Kuwait. And as soon as I saw that, I realised something's not right here. I don't know what these things are for, but I'll tell you right now. And before he can continue, Arshan kind of leans forward and says, "Well, if our conversation wasn't interrupted last time, I could have told you, naturally, that the reason we are making these implants is to simply remove the thought of a rebellion from rebel leaders. Now, gentlemen, I understand that it's all so very confusing after all. Only one of you is human for the most part, even though you're Mandalorian. Not the point. You see, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think. You can't even trust your own men. And the best part, the very best part, is like a blaster, like a vibro knife, like any sort of tool we use for crushing the rebellion. We can also turn the rebels against themselves. And when we're done, we just throw them away. And after he says that, you see kind of a spasm in Arshawn, and her eyes kind of roll back into her head, and she just stumbles forward and hits the table, and her head is kind of cocked to the side, and you see kind of a pool of blood starting to form from the table and pouring down.
Looking at Spec, I'm sure he's already rushing to her side, trying to find the mark, like on the back of my neck, and quickly say that's exactly what that was for. I also have one, but mine is somehow not functioning correctly. The other gentleman that we met earlier also had one. If that is what you're saying, that's where they're making, those are the three places that are manufacturing the parts and don't know exactly what it's for. But surely one of those places has the idea more of who's getting them, where they're getting transported to.
Well, that makes a lot of sense if they were manufacturing something and doing it in secret. Keep all the parts done separately so no one place has any idea what they're actually building.
They've already infiltrated. This is no longer a safe haven for the rebellion.
I can't believe this. She had a thing? What are these things put in her? Oh, Arshawn.
One doesn't know when they have it. I didn't know mine was in.
Spec, can you give Flying Fish the telemetry that you took from your scans of Mercer's implant? Flying Fish, you need to check your people for these chips, and then you need to start moving out any who are free of it as quickly as possible.
Oh, yes. Oh, good idea. Datapad. The hypo.
In your bag.
Scalpel. I believe it's in my bag. 1 second. And he kind of rushes around, takes off, and kind of looks in, and he's just like, his hands are a blur. Like, you can't even imagine this man doing complex surgery, just how fast his hands are moving. Ah, yes! I found it. These are scans. You need this. Take it. You know, you take it. All right. So he kind of begins to kind of thumb through it and look through it, and he's really shocked about just the level of technology that is in this implant, and it's almost shocking in a way, and he's just amazed. What? I don't know.
Looking at that, Mike, I'm going to look around, see if I can find a sheet or something, and I'm just going to pull it over the body of Arshawn.
You do see some. The only I guess something close to that would be you do see a few rain jackets for when for the times that it does rain extremely heavily in here, but you do see some like large jackets, and you can just kind of pile them. Yeah. He looks and he says, "Well, I mean, we can do research on this. We can maybe I can try and cut her open, and we can have a look at this thing. I don't really know much about it, but I'll see what I can do. I mean,
Spec, would you be able to stay with Flying Fish and help him check the people out? You're the one who has the greatest knowledge of these implants out of all of us.
Yes, yes. I think that's a very good idea. Yes. Oh dear. I do need to. I will put my best effort towards it.
I'm sure you will, Spec. It's very important that people be checked out before they leave here, and that only once people have been checked that you start moving these people out. We can't risk any more people with these implants getting out. Lord knows how many are already out there.
Yes, a sound plan. I shall also endeavor to work with Dr. Alani to develop some type of a radiometric sensor. Perhaps this could be a very good plan to maybe spot one of these implants from far away. I think this would definitely help, instead of just a physical examination of each individual person. So yes. I definitely will have to stay for now. However, I shall keep all of you gentlemen updated on any breaks in our research.
Thank you, Spec.
Very good. And we need to find our next step. We have those 3 places of basically what we got to do, and we also have to figure out who 52 really is and how he wants to help us. And I'll look at the other 2 gentlemen. We've encountered number 52. He seemed to help us get out of the facility. He left an extravagant way out, and I'll actually grab for the data pad, and then Kajimal has a weapon that can actually cut. A cutting device.
Does he? I can't. Like
the piece, the item that I was cutting the bars with. Remember? Kajimal had it last. He was the one who was doing it.
That's right. You'll have to forgive me because I don't have it on the. I don't have it on my.
No worries.
But yes, yeah, he has it, and you'll just hand it over.
Well, no, we don't need to hand it over. I don't think at this point. No? We just have it.
Okay. So yeah, he kind of nods his head, kind of holds it up.
That was just my what do you call it? Item that's saying that this 52 helped us get out. Now, for what reason did he help us out? Is he trying to trick us? We have a number, another person we have to try to get in contact with to see more.
So Dr. Alani kind of looks. Well, I will say this. Right now, we're facing a very dire situation. If we don't get this sorted out, then we're dead men and women. We're all dead, because that means there is no place that we are safe where the Empire cannot touch us. And I don't know what that was, who that voice was. It was not Arshan, but whoever that was, if that thing can get into any rebel leader and just do whatever they want, it's a dark day, lads. It's a dark day.
I think we need to get the scans and the information on the chips to the rest of the rebel fleet as quickly as possible, so that those in a high-ranking position can be checked for them.
I'll definitely be doing that, and I'll definitely be putting in a good word for you. especially all the hard work you did in not only freeing me, but getting rid of that damn cruiser. Definitely going to be saving a lot of lives there, lads. Definitely be saving a lot of lives.
That's the hope.
Aye. Well, that being said, if you lads want to head back to your ship, you go right ahead. We'll pass the message along, and well,
Looking at the second in charge, he's probably now first in charge. Have you checked on the ship to for anything else that we might have had on it, like we carried along? Because you said you were going to just check on it. I wasn't sure if you remember that part. Muted. I'll say that's number 2.
actually, no, that's number 4, folks. Number 4. And for the record, no, they don't carry over.
No, I know.
Just so we're all clear, doesn't carry over.
Next time we're gonna get all whites. Watch.
I know.
That's what we say every week, right?
Yeah, pretty much. One of these days. Well, you know, one of you actually did roll a white this session. I was very proud of you guys. Well done, Celine. He looks and he says, "Well, look, mate, we've been keeping an eye on it, making sure no one stole it, nothing like that. If, for example, something were to happen, it's nothing that we've seen. I mean, nobody's gone near it. Nobody's put a bomb under it. Nobody's tried to steal it. So I mean, it's all right, mate. If you want to go, you'll right as rain."
Now, Celine's been noticing as we've been going along with the incident with the giant eel and all the various things that have been happening, as he's been looking out for danger and things like that. He's obviously getting used to continually watching his own back, and he's almost been starting to almost sort of extend his range of perception, and he's noticed that it's becoming a great deal easier for him to like spot unusual things. So as they've said, we might be going back on our ship, he'll have obviously like jumped up and have stood up straight, excited at the prospect of getting some space underneath him again, and then he'll say, "Well, Mercer, I'm sure I can give the ship a bit of a once over and make sure there's nothing untoward on there."
Excellent. It's up to you. If we
Right.
should find out,
I'll give it a look then.
find out who or where we can contact 52. We have a data pad. I'm sure he has a way of contacting us or knowing where this information is.
Okay, what's it? I check over the ship then, and assuming it's all ship shape, we can put this place behind us.
And just to clarify something you might not know, these 88 people project themselves on the person who has the chip. That is why we have that weird message of me versus being me, but not being me. Yeah, that's what he means. That person that you heard talking was someone else, and by throwing the person away is what we saw. Luckily, mine is destroyed in some fashion, or not.
That's something to be thankful for.
Actually, there is one thing. Well, if you wouldn't mind, wherever you decide to go, we will tell the rebellion of all that you've done and to keep them apprised of the current situation. But wherever you decide to go, perhaps mention to the rebel leaders there and maybe give them a quick scan just to be on the safe side. Even if it's physical, even if it's maybe not, just maybe give them a quick once over, make sure they're on the level.
I'm going to lean in close to Dr. Alani, aka Flying Fish, and in a slightly lowered voice say, Do you have coordinates for a contact for the rebel fleet? When we left Hoth in quite a hurry, we weren't able to get the coordinates for the rendezvous for the fleet. We could do with getting this information straight to them as quickly as possible.
I have some codes, communication codes, to speak to the rebels. Where the rebels are at this point, I don't know. After Hoth, I'm almost thinking they left the galaxy. It sounds ridiculous, I know, but I'm pretty sure that they went and flew as far away and as fast as possible.
Would you be able to use your contact frequencies to get in touch with them and request some sort of rendezvous with at least a part of the fleet?
Well, like I said, I can give them all the information they need through communication. Hell, if necessary, I can give it to you as well. I can give you at least some of the codes.
Thank you.
Aye, this will give you access to at least some of Alliance Command's higher echelons. This way, you can speak to them. I'll talk to them ahead of time. Maybe we'll even see if we can get you someone to kind of liaison with. Maybe you could talk to one of the higher ups in the chain, if you know what I mean.
That'd be good. We're pretty much operating in the dark here. We don't know what the overall plan is. We need to at least try and get in touch with them and find out what the current state of play is and whether they have any further orders for us.
Aye. No, that's good.
Or who's going to give us our orders now that we're sort of a team?
A team. All you're gonna need now is some type of name or something.
In time. I'm sure that'll be given, but that's not important right now.
I agree.
And with that, Flying Fish kind of nods, and everyone kind of steps aside with the door opening. The codes are given to you on a small kind of like a small data chip. So that you basically something akin to a flash drive. It's very small. You could just put it into a slot where the communication device is, and will help extend and automatically encrypt the code to the communication to up like higher ups in the rebel fleet. So it gives you that. And as you gentlemen are kind of beginning to file out of the command center, you hear Spec. Well, this is goodbye for now. I would just like all of you to know that it is truly been an honor to serve with all of you. And, well, remember, I am not there to constantly patch you up, so do try to be a bit careful. And of course, may the Force be with you.
No problem, Sideline. You go ahead and do what you have to do here. You get with us when you need to. Don't get all mushy on us. You're still a soldier in the rebellion. Do what you need to do. Keep in contact what we need to know.
Celine pats him on the shoulder and says, "Well, I can honestly say you're the best giant rabbit physician I've ever served with. I'm sure we'll be seeing you again, Spec. Take care of yourself."
Oh, thank you. And I shall be sure not to eat any fried squid while I'm here. Goodbye. And he kind of turns around and kind of goes back to and starts to work with Flying Fish on this complex biomedical object.
As he turns, Varric is standing there. He reaches up, pulling his hood a little lower as he leans forward to whisper, "Do not worry, my friend, I shall see you again, though I am not sure you shall see me first." And then I'll slip by him and head out the door.
Ooh. Interesting. As you guys are making your way out of Habitat 365, you begin to see that some of the other rebels are the way they're looking at you. You know, they're standing up a bit straighter, nodding their heads, and you've definitely made yourself an impact on this world. As you leave Habitat 365 and the protocol droid gibbers in his protocol-y kind of way, the sun is beaming beautifully, casting amazing and almost spectral shadows across all of the roads as you begin to walk down towards the dock where your ship, the Finders Keepers, lies. And as you approach the dockyard, you see kind of a general kind of jovial attitude. You know, a lot of people are just kind of looking, pointing, kind of nodding their heads and kind of smiling a bit, seeing Juggerhead, you know, in such a almost catastrophic state. And you know, other people are just kind of worried, knowing that some of their loved ones are have been working at the facility during that time. The harbor master kind of looks at you guys blankly as you begin your paperwork to leave. For the most part, very quiet. You know, doesn't say anything, mentions nothing about a bribe. And you see it there, your beautiful ship, the transport Tidarian, sitting there just in all of its magnificence, especially to you, Celine, looking at it like a lover you have not seen in far too long.
That's my baby.
Nice. As you guys begin to approach it, the familiar opening, the door opens. You are hit with one hell of a smell. I mean, you know, yeah, pretty much. Apparently, when you leave a human corpse in a ship in the hot sun, it's bad. It's yeah. So you have that to contend with as you fellas kind of make your way out to leave. It now reeks to high hell in
We'll be
in
flying
that
with the vents wide open.
Yeah, I'll be
Before we
flicking
hit
sort of
our
air vents on
atmosphere.
as I go in.
As you begin to lift off, the nav computer prompts you, Celine, to pick a destination.
I'll look over my shoulder at the other two. I presume this is after I've sort of had a look around the ship, you know, to make sure it's all fine,
Yeah.
etc. Okay, I'll look over my shoulder at the other two and I'll say, well, where to then?
For right now, destination unknown. Just get us into the air, get the smell out of here, and then we'll see what kind of contact we can make or makes with us.
Okay, the vents are all open. Obviously, I'll have to close them as we hit the atmosphere. I suggest as we move into the lower atmosphere, we dispose of that, and I jerk my thumb in the direction of the body, out of the back. It'll burn up in the atmosphere. We quickly close the door, shut all the vents, and off we go.
I'm sure there's a fish down there who could eat it.
Unfortunately, of course, you killed the only fish that consumes humans. No, the body just tumbles off into the atmosphere, burning up, and actually has completely burnt up before it even hits the ionosphere of the planet. It is already just fried up, like it's ash now floating in lower orbit around, never to be even thought of again.
Okay, I'll hit the button, obviously, as we're heading into the atmosphere to like close all the vents. Then, instead of the fairly lazy sort of pace we've taken as we've been heading into the atmosphere, just sort of skimming it so we could throw this body out, I'll then pull back on the controls to angle us up a little bit more sharply, I'll press down the accelerator and we start to speed up as we head out of the atmosphere of the ocean world. As it sort of disappears behind us, I'll look at it with almost a slight sort of like wistful look on my face, since as far as I was concerned, it was a very pleasant and temperate world.
It was,
Yeah.
and the feeling of it is almost as if when you had left Mon Calamari.
Oh.
On your journey with other Quarrens flying out. As you are now in orbit, and you still again see some of the Imperial vessels. This time a bit further off to the side. You see less TIE fighters now. Many of them have been flying back into the atmosphere to find out just what happened to the shipyard. You see some of the quiet shells being finished off, some frigates and even another cruiser, not like the Interdictor, but just another cruiser-sized vessel.
Okay. My plan at the minute is so what I'm going on at the minute is basically just to find a nearby system on our star charts that we can jump to in hyperspace where we can refuel, etc. Then once we're in another system away from the Imperials, we can then perhaps risk sending a communication to the Rebel fleet asking for further orders. Obviously, I don't want to do so here in case it's intercepted despite the encryption.
Yep.
Of course.
And we have 3 destinations to go to. We can research what they are, who they are, where they're at, and stuff.
Not a problem. I will mention though that being on Vestine, when you dock your ship, generally at one of the many spaceports, they do refuel, like as part of the docking charge, aka the bribe. They do like care for your ship, refuel your ship, make sure everything's kind of sorted out, and you should be primed, ready to go. I will say though, mechanically slightly out of game. For Celine and Kojamal, you gentlemen will both be adding plus 10 to your duty, so definitely don't forget to add that on, as you've definitely fulfilled 2 parts to it, blowing up the cruiser. And also, you gentlemen, as far as this mission goes, this first mission has been completed, not without its consequences, as you may or may not be responsible for the deaths of over 100 workers. You just keep shaking your head, Zoidberg. Keep shaking your head. So there is that. So you definitely have passed. You've also gained a communication chip to help you communicate with the Rebel fleet. You will not know where they are, but you will be able to talk to someone who at some point could become your handler.
Or if they contact us, we can identify them with that chip to know.
That is correct. That is correct. Nice. Well, glad to know Varric won't lose any sleep over anything.
That's because Varric never sleeps.
That's right. That's right. The energy is too afraid to leave his body. So, you gentlemen are now left with a decision.
Which
system?
Can be made by the tide change?
It very well can. It very well could be. So you have 3 places in which to go. Yes,
yeah, but we don't know much about them though. That's the thing.
Okay.
Is there any chance we could make a knowledge roll or something to see what we know about them?
You could. However, keep in mind you do have the master list as part of your computer. So the master list will not only give you the information on all of the Rebel locations on all the planets so far, it'll also give you information on the planets. So I can give
Right.
you information based off of the planets that you want to know about. For example, the coding, the software, is on the planet Raltier. Raltier is a core world. It is a world that is one of the heaviest banking, uh, one of the heaviest banking worlds in the Empire.
Ah,
When the
yes.
Empire needs money, they go to Raltier. Now, unfortunately, the Empire owns a lot of the banking, so in essence, much like the American Federal Reserve, it just keeps printing money, and which is why they can afford exorbitant things like interplanetary killing things, and Death Stars, and all these other good things. So the next planet is Thyfera. Thyfera is a planet that is rich and lush in jungles. It is a beautiful, idyllic world that is also where all of the galaxy's Bacta tanks and Bacta are created. It is home to the I'm totally gonna mispronounce this. The Victic species, an insectoid alien life form that is generally relatively pleasant, but has been come under almost harsh penalty and rule over the human-dominated cartels of all Bacta. And as you would know already, Bacta is a type of fluid that greatly aids in the healing process if you are suffering grievous injuries.
And this is where that biometric
This is
portion
where,
is.
correct. This is where the biomedical hardware is. So basically, a foreign object is implanted into your body. This biomedical hardware will keep the thing running smoothly without any sort of problems. And finally, the last planet is Kuat. It is home to the Kuat Drive Yards, which is where all the Imperial Star Destroyers are virtually created. It is a planet that is essentially one giant shipyard around it. It houses millions of workers in this massive, like, artificially created ring around this planet. And I mean, these people are worked hard, like very hard, every single day for virtually little pay, and it's like awful conditions, but they are like forced to work, and the electronics and all the other bits seem to come from this place. And we will enact the tide change. Well, actually, one more thing though. Raltier, although is very wealthy insofar as its banking, it is also a hotbed of underworld activities. That is also something to probably try and keep in mind.
Yeah. And we're trying. I mean, we really don't have any orders yet, and we understand what these planets are, but we really don't know how they react to the rest of, if certain things, and every single one of them is going to be heavily imperialized. Um, Thyfera may be one of the best places probably to start with, to start not even with a rebellion area, but just to get to know some of the people, places, and even get to know some of it, what's going on, before we start kind of going in and not going guns blazing without even realizing what is really going on, since our mission is kind of changing and we don't really have one. That's the other portion of it.
I was thinking the same thing, although it's from what the information that on the list says it's dominated by cartels. It seems certainly from the wording here to have a less strongly ruling imperial presence than the other two.
hmm That way we know more what's going on, and
Mm.
Maybe someone will contact us, or we'll be able to know more information to contact the leaders to find out, to tell them what's more going on. Because
So
right now we're
how
just
about
doing a
we?
scouting mission, basically what we're going to be doing on ourselves.
So how about I jump us to Thyfera then, and once we arrive on the outskirts of the system, we can send a signal using the rebel comm device to ask for further orders.
That, and if we don't get a hold of Rebellion, that's fine too, because that means there's less of them that's going to be we're going to be put in danger with, or make him in danger, because we'll find out. I mean, it's hard to say.
No, I agree. That sounds entirely sound, and I'll get on the nav computer and start typing in the coordinates from this list for Thyfera.
And I'll start looking at this the computer that I got that has 52's information that he wrote to us. And kind of like listen to that or study it or whatever.
Not a problem. As you punch in the coordinates, and you begin to, like, the stars begin to almost pull back in this streak as the ship, just kind of takes off. On the back hull of the ship, you see this small little blinking light, just blinking, sitting on the side of the hull of the ship, almost underneath, virtually impossible to see. And right behind it, you see another smaller vessel. It almost looks like it's hard to explain. It almost looks like a YT 1300, but at the same time, it's different. It's slightly more compact. It looks like if you took, the love child of a TIE Interceptor and the Millennium Falcon had a child, it would look like this ship. And it begins to break the orbit of the planet, point itself in your direction, and it begins to wait, counting down until it too will follow you to the Thyfera system.
That's what Celine sees, or that's what
that is. You guys don't see anything.
That's what the camera sees.
Okay.
That's
Good.
and that's where we're going to end the session for today.
Excellent.
That
Hypey
little spot.
Love a cliffhanger.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and also the Tarasques that are piloting the Star Destroyers that are coming towards you.
Oh, sweet.
No.
little D&D and Star Wars, kind of.
Wait, they can fit in there?
Oh, yeah, you hollow it out. No
wonder it's such an ugly ship. No wonder it's such an ugly ship. It's all of them Tarasques inside there are like bulging the hull outwards. That's what it is, man.
Oh, for sure. Anyway, all right. Well, we're going to do our outros right now. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching Star Wars, the Heart of the Empire, brought to you by the amazing Tides of Change role-playing game club, which I've had a distinct honor of playing, and especially a distinct honor of playing with these incredible players. Right now, I'd like to go back to the players and have them just do their outros and more plugging, because plugging. So starting on my left, Varric.
Excuse me again, it's Dennis. I played Varric Mar, Prime. Another fun session. Thanks to GM and my fellow players, as well as our absent team members. Their presence was missed. Already looking forward to next session.
And thank you very much for that. And next up, Mercer.
Hey everybody, this is Gabe B playing Mercer, and again, very fun game, and I hope you guys continue watching And I know we will sorely miss Ryan playing Spec, but he was done miraculously by Mike today. Devin, we will see you next time, and may the force be with you all.
And also with you. And then finally, we have Celine.
Okay, this is John from Red Dice Diaries. I've been playing Celine Naval during the session, just to echo what everyone else has said. Very much enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next session and seeing how the twist develops. So I'll just say goodbye, and may your ink sacks always be full.
I got nothing. I can't. I
May
can't
your
even.
backs be as straight as a ladder.
Oh.
I love it. I love it. And may your triumphs always be triumphant. There we go. That's
good.
Yeah. Okay. We can do. We'll work with that. All right. We're going with that. Anyway, folks, I hope you've enjoyed. I wish you all a very happy gaming and a wonderful evening. And thanks for stopping by. And if you ever have a chance, again, Facebook.com, Tides of Change Role Playing Game Club. Check them out. This is from Mike. Adios.